Hello, and welcome back to the Miscellaneous Debris Podcast with me, your host, the Mad Chatter Ryan MK. Thank you for joining me. Much appreciated. Thank you for listening once again. If you're new, this is going to be a wild ride, potentially. Follow me at RMK Madness on the Twitters, on the Grams. Please and thank you. It's now on YouTubes if you're listening. It's now on YouTubes if you're watching, you know. Because you're watching through the YouTubes. Through the tubes, yo. So, thank you. Welcome. Yes, we are here. 'Tis Friday. Hope your week was well. Mine was up and down. Got better. Trended upward as the week went along, if you know what I mean. So, did what I could. But here we are, Friday, ready for a good weekend. But first of all, it is that day. Comes once a year. Ever since 19 years ago, since the tragedy that was 9/11. And just want to make sure we mention it, honor our fallen heroes and civilians that were lost. And while it's a day of remembrance, because, hey, we will never forget, it's also, in these times, a bit crazy. Because in if you contrast it, let me rephrase this. In contrast, how we're acting as a country now, like with the pandemic. This is a major thing that was happening, and we've been so divided. After 9/11, we were so unified as a country. And it seems for a while now we've been nothing but split down the middle. And you know me. You've heard my thoughts on either side, really, red or blue, donkey, elephant, Republican, Democrat, the two-party system in general. I dislike. I think we're still a young nation. And it's like we're still going through the growing pains that other nations that have been around for centuries, that they've already gone through. That we shouldn't have to, because we should learn. But there's something about this country where it's so, we're great. We're Americans. Because we've done some great stuff. We have. But it gets to the point, the whole America. And that there's nothing wrong with us. That there's nothing we need to work on, that we're perfect. No, come on. It is interesting, because we are a divided country. Not just on the pandemic, the whole equality thing. I mean, just last night, in the football game, you had people fucking booing the moment of silence. What the fuck was that about? Why? It wasn't even during the anthem. See, the argument keeps changing. At first it was just don't kneel in front of the flag. Now it's we don't want it in our sports, period. You can protest, just don't disrespect the flag. Even though that's not what they were doing. Not what they were doing, but that's okay. You want to say that? There are people doing other things other ways, and that's not good enough either. Okay. All right. We see you. You got Proud Boys attacking Black Lives Matter protesters. And people can talk, the other side can talk all they want about rioters and things like that. But here's the thing. They fail to mention that they believe with cops it's just a few bad apples. But no, with the protesters, what, it's all of them? Makes no sense. Some want to say there is no racism in this country. Yet, in Kentucky, KKK newspapers, preaching white supremacy and the like, were appearing at Kentucky homes. Yeah. And the COVID-19 situation. So much division there still. So many people refusing to... And now Trump's back to... He was doing the whole mask thing, and now he's back to... making fun of Biden. Oh my goodness. We'll get to him. So yes, there's all this division. There's the pandemic. All this shit going on. Meanwhile, California's on fucking fire, and other parts of the West. Here in Colorado, we got some shit going on. Just last week, unhealthy air quality, my ass. That shit was smoke outside. It said it for a split second too on my phone. I clicked on the fucking weather app. That shit said smoke. It said smoke. I think we're gonna scoot this back a little bit. Oh, there we go. Smoke. Straight smoke. And then it went to unhealthy air quality. Yeah. I might have said that before. But anyway. Anyway. These fires continue. And yet we hit another division. Climate change. Because not enough fucking people want to listen to science. Like, have you seen the California? Take your pick. Does it look apocalyptic? Does it look like they should be on fucking Mars? I mean, look at the skies in Cali. What does climate change have to do with it? It's hotter and drier, which makes the fires deadlier. Do some research. Here's a positive with that, though. There are a bunch of Australian teens suing the government, the Australian government, over the coal mining extension. And they say they're doing it for, quote, on behalf of young people everywhere. I mean, you know what I'm saying, dude? I mean, fucking badass. We need some more. We need more. We need more youth in the fight. That's what we need. Because we's trying. But a lot of us probably won't be around when the real consequences hit. Unless we continue to speed this shit up. I mean, but this planet does belong. The future belongs to the youth. We need to... Everyone needs to get much more involved, really. But the youthful voices do wonders. They do wonders. Voting as well. So come on, young people. Get the fuck in it. Come on. Get in the fight. Let's go. I mean, we don't have anywhere else to go. Like, that's probably why they're, working on Mars. They're working on it. But how soon is that going to be plausible? Maybe in time for the most elite of the elite to get over there before this planet self-destructs. Or, not self-destructs, because it'd be us. I don't know. It's just insane. Like, what the fuck?
No!
Right. Need more youth in the fight. As a human race, we've got a lot of fucking work to do. A lot of fucking work. A lot of fucking work, people. We really do. A lot of it starts here in the U.S., where we're supposed to be this great country. And we are failing in so many ways. So it begins with getting Trump out of the White House. That's what we gotta fucking do. And speaking of, we're gonna head to the next segment, the Trump dump.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Whoa! Welcome to the Trump dump. That's right. The Trump dump. Which, by the way, Mr. Trump, I don't know if you saw, but Mick Foley said hi. He did. And he's like, hey. Oh, Mick Foley went off on a bunch of shit. He was like, I didn't want to get this involved. If you don't know who Mick Foley is, legend wrestler, professional wrestler for WWE, WCW. He's done one. He is the guy, if you've ever seen the part where Undertaker throws somebody off of a cage, Mick Foley's the guy getting thrown off the cage. Just so you know. Now, he's a pretty cool dude. Pretty legit dude. And he's like reminds me of Jim Gaffigan in that situation, who, by the way, is still fucking rolling. Keep going, Jim. Keep it rolling, Gaffy. He probably doesn't like being called that. I digress. So, Mick Foley is on, I think it was Twitter, talking about, I never wanted to get this much into the 2020 election, but he knew, like, Mick Foley's thing is the pandemic. See, the thing with this is Trump can claim all he wants. What we're about to talk about, this Bob Woodward book, he can claim all he wants it's fake news. The problem is there's audio. Like, how do you deny audio, Mr. President? Just curious. Seems rather difficult if you ask me. So, we get into that. Bob Woodward. Well, he has some credentials. This isn't some fucking bum. This isn't some nobody, some former employee, as Trump so often uses. But a lot of times, these guys are like, fuck yeah, I'm going to tell on you. If you were working for Trump and tried to, like, stop him from doing crazy shit and you got fired, of course you'd say something. So anyway, Mr. Woodward does have credentials. Serious journalist. After spending time in the military, he reported Watergate, the 96 campaign, financial fiasco with China. He called out Obama. This whole sequester thing when the Obama administration, some sequester thing, I can't remember, and I didn't write it over my notes. But he called out Obama, and the White House had to respond. So he doesn't play any particular side. George W. Bush interviewed him several times. So this is someone who tends to get to know presidents. Well, he interviewed Trump a bunch of times, got audio. And he's bringing out this book, or he's coming out with this book next week. And there's some stuff that got released early. And it's pretty damning, because how would it not be true? It's coming straight from the president's fucking mouth. He can call it fake news all he wants, but it's pretty hard to defend that when it's fake. Fake. Can't defend it when it's your own fucking voice. So to begin, Trump admits to Mr. Woodward that he knows how dangerous the coronavirus is, how deadly it is, 5 times deadlier than the flu, of course, but he wants to downplay it. He's going to downplay it and continue to downplay it because why? Because he wants to avoid panic, or what is likely the real reason, in that, well, he fears it'll lose him the election. And then there's got to be more to that. In other words, he also admitting to saving Mohammed bin Salman's ass. He quote Trump, I saved his ass. Yeah, Trump saved his ass, apparently. Protected him a bit from Congress over the journalist Khashoggi killing. Now, U.S. intelligence has learned that the prince ordered the killing. Yet, Trump is protecting him because, this is the interesting part, because the prince told Trump himself he didn't do it. And that's good enough for Trump. That is good enough for Trump. And then he goes on to explain how much money they get. How much money Saudi Arabia spends. It just... So it's the money, right? It's the money. It's not really... It's the money. You don't want to piss them off because you want money. Because he's a businessman, I suppose. That's what he knows best, is trying to do his best to get money, no matter how unethical it may seem. Just more shit. More shit. Of course, he claims all of this is fake news again. It's all fake news. And then he starts to oddly defend it. Well, if Bob Woodward knew, he should have came out and said something to save the people. Like, dude, you're the fucking president. That I just... His base isn't going to waver. So what does he care? What does he care? And the Kim Jong-un thing. People do... Apparently, in 2017, we were awfully close to war with North Korea because Trump wouldn't shut the fuck up on Twitter with his goddamn Rocket Man and shit like that. Which is kind of funny. But almost started a fucking war, man. And then he became all buddy-buddy with Kim Jong-un, comparing it to a relationship with a female, saying it's like when you see a woman. You see her, like, I know my Trump is there. You see her, and then you get the feelings. You know, there's a connection there. You just know. My terrible ass Trump impersonation, thank you very much. And it's, so now he's buddies with Putin, who likely it's more of Putin's blackmailing him than he's buddies with him. But Putin's probably using him overall, in general, I would think, because, well, I'm sure he knows a lot more about politics than Mr. Trump. And if you have seen all of what Putin's done in Russia, you just might find it a little bit disturbing that Trump is such good buddies with him. I guess we'll see. So he's buddies with Putin and Kim Jong-un. But he wants to get away from the European nations. He's pissing off the UK and Germany, Italy, like, okay, Canada, Mexico. Let's just piss off everybody around us and become buddies with dictators. It just feels like, what is this? It feels like sometimes we're setting up for World War III, and this time we're on the bad guy's side. We're on the bad guy's side. But he said, fake news. Remember, it's a mark of a fascist. Controlling the media. That's what he's trying to do. If it's something he doesn't want out there, it's fake news. Otherwise, he's making sure anything he wants out there goes whoosh. He's trying to control the media. Fascism. Remember our fascism checklist from last episode? That's right. Don't forget it. We just have to get him out of the office before he does potentially walk us down that path of a World War III. I mean, I at one point was going to be a history major. I know a good amount about history. I've done a lot of studying, specifically of the couple of world wars. It's my second favorite aspect of history, not because I think war is grand or anything, just because it's all insane. Everything that leads up to it. And you see, it didn't have to happen, either war. And then it gets going, and it's almost like a game of chess. And you see, for example, in World War II, the Nazis just kicking everybody's ass at first. And it's just, there's so much that goes into the history of the world and the history of this country. And again, we're a very young nation. We still have shit to learn, especially if we're not going to pay attention to other countries that have been around for centuries. The healthcare is one thing. We think we're America, so we think we do it better. I understand there's certain situations where our system is more appealing. But I would also say, if you're someone with money and you have health insurance, maybe you don't care. But for those of us that have struggled to always have insurance, we kind of like the idea that we could just go to the fucking doctor without having to worry about anything. At least give everybody free insurance. Of the free basic insurance, if that's what we're going to do, keep the insurance shit up. It's frustrating. Just feels, again, like we have so much to learn. But it begins, again, with ending Trump's reign. And that's what I got for this episode's Trump.
Thank God! Thank God! Thank God!
Well, we finally got some fucking football, eh? We did. I was, again, disappointed in the... Fuck you, Kansas City fans. Whichever ones were booing, specifically, is what I mean. It's very disappointing. But, moving on to the game, Chiefs were pretty dominant, right? Houston looks a little in trouble. Kind of like, maybe, perhaps... they need a number one wide receiver. Although Will Fuller didn't look terrible. Went over 100, no touchdowns. 31% snap share, I believe. Target share is what I meant to say. So not bad. Not bad. So it does look like, I was talking yesterday I was thinking I'd like Brandon Cooks in this offense, and maybe he just needs some time. But Fuller looked pretty good. So, if you drafted him, you're happy with it. Now, the only concern with Fuller, and this is my big concern and why I don't have a lot of Fuller, Mr. Will Fuller, dude's never played 16, man. Now, maybe he does it this year. Maybe. And he can still be productive in 14, which he has done. But I still just, best ball? That's a different story. Now, she'll see how he goes. Why am I getting... This is not my fantasy podcast. I'm sorry. I'll quit getting into it. Deshaun Watson, if you like football, this dude, something's got to happen. Because I thought maybe he'd have more help. But it's... overall, I'll not get too football analytical right here. But overall, it's an okay game. Has its moments, but football is back. That's just it's beautiful. Now we'll see if it stays. We'll see. And by the way, if you are, into the football analytical type stuff, you're into fantasy football, that sort of thing, feel free to check out my Fantasy Madness podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube here, and I'll be doing lots of little videos with stuff and whatnot with that. So, if you like football, fantasy football in particular, check out my stuffs. And on Twitter at RMKMenace. Do have articles I write for playerprofiler.com, so you can also go there, find my name under some articles. The Mad Chatter Ryan MK, it just says that, and you will find my writing materials. My writings. My work. Anyway, moving on. I'm just looking forward to Sunday, though. Lots of football. Now, again, we'll see what happens. Because they's going to have to test everybody after that. And this is the first time bunches of people are coming together. Now, most of the teams, it seems like they've been doing a pretty good job of keeping the shit out their locker room. And as they were explaining during the game last night, they're all wearing these little trackers. And so should they test positive, these trackers will be able to notify the medical team of everybody they came in contact with, close enough contact with. And then therefore they'll probably have to quarantine. Like, it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it all works out. And speaking of football, there was something that happened yesterday concerning Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And I think this is important because it goes beyond football. Okay. Dak Prescott came out recently admitted to suffering mental issues, anxiety, depression, said he had a hard time with the lockdown, and also his brother, as of recent, had committed suicide. So, a lot of stuff, or I think it was recently, but a lot of stuff going on for Dak Prescott, right? And, really the world is starting to become aware of how important this is up here, right? And that's why everything behind the concussions, that's why things are being done. We got to protect our brains from physical injury and from the mental trauma, right? We got to protect our mentals, like Marshawn Lynch said. And former ESPN commentator, I guess I will say, Skip Bayless. He's now with Fox News. He does the Undisputed Show, which, not Fox News, Fox Sports. He does the Undisputed Show with Shannon Sharp. And he, yesterday, was talking about how he believed that by Dak coming out and saying the things he did, it showed a lack of leadership. Somehow it made him look weak. And he, did say before that he respected mental illness and all of this. And he does believe that it's a good thing to speak about. But when you're the quarterback of a football team, that's when you don't do it. And there was a lot of people like, hey, this makes him a stronger leader. You got to be on. And Dak said himself yesterday, I don't agree with that sentiment. Or maybe it was today. I don't agree with that sentiment. I've got to be honest as a leader. I've got to, be real, be authentic. And he's right. And I respect and commend Dak Prescott for that. Because the mental stuff ain't no bullshit. And the more, high-profile athletes and entertainers come out and talk about it, the easier it's going to be for normal people to talk about it. I'd be a little personal, like my son, my oldest son. He is older now, in his early 20s. I know. I don't look it. I was a teen dad, a high school dad. But anyway, he, had his moments, and I had tried, my wife and I, to get him into therapy, and his biggest thing was that that he'd be crazy, that he's not crazy, that this makes him seem like he's crazy. That's what he kept coming back to. So there's still some stigmas around mental illness, and that they need to be brought down, right? And so he's a big NBA fan, my son. So when you see guys come out, and many of them have, Kevin Love, a big one that came out and talked, but you see these guys come out and talk about their experiences, and it's got to make people that feel like my son feel not alone. So I believe it's important for someone such as a Dak Prescott to do what he says as a leader. Do just as he said. Come out and be honest and authentic and let people know. Everybody struggles with some of this shit, Mental issues are no joke. And yet Skip Bayless says he has all this respect for people with mental illness and things like this and this and this, but Dak wasn't feeling Prescott, or Dak Prescott wasn't feeling depression. It was just sadness or whatever the fuck he was saying. And to question his strength as a leader because he came out about his mental issues. I mean, there's a whole fire Skip thing going around Twitter. I don't know if I go that far, but it's definitely an asshole take. And I didn't like the motherfucker anyway, but this just validates why, really. because that is some fucking caveman mentality. That's some old school thinking. We don't fucking need that shit around anymore. No, no, no. It's archaic, just as that motherfucker is. Hey, Beast Mode said it best. Again, Beast Mode said it best. Take care of your fucking mentals.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Ah, yes. Game over. Pot overtime. Let's close up shop, wrap it up, get out of here for the weekend. You know, a lot of people are struggling right now. A lot of people trying to maintain their mentals. And hey, I've had days myself. Pretty sure we all have. I mean, the country's on fire. A virus is still just floating around all willy-nilly because half the country isn't taking it seriously. We got a president who's working on cementing his dictatorship. So we're trying to combat that. We got white supremacists running around. And it's just, everything seems so fucked right now. People are struggling financially. I need to get my Patreon going for that reason. But I need my damn logo. It's just taking... I'm getting it. I believe I'm getting it. But there's a lot of shit going on right now. A lot of reasons that you could be affected mentally. You know? So, just got to find your ways. Your ways to get through. Me? Is one way. Is one way. Is one way. It helps a lot, man. Not gonna lie, it helps a lot. Man and woman. So, yes. We just gotta, take care of each other better. As a peoples. It's hard to do, obviously, when you got one segment of the country that seems to think another segment of the country really isn't worth a shit. I don't know how we change those people's minds. But, the rest of us, we got to take care of each other. Take care of your own. Make sure they're taken care of, And again, Beast Mode said it best. Take care of your mentals. It's important, particularly during this time, all right? So, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, okay? We got more hockey and basketball playoffs. NFL, full slate of Sunday games. I'm excited about that. Again, we'll see what happens after week 1. And now they're prepared for it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have a problem with saying we'll see. I've noticed that on my Fantasy Madness packet. I'd be saying we'll see a lot. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. I say that shit a lot. I got to try and calm down on it. It's too repetitive. God damn it. Anyway. Moving on to the weekend, moving up out of here. We're going to close up the shop for the weekend, all right? So, once again, thank you for listening. I am the Mad Chatter Ryan MK from Madhouse MK. And this has been Miscellaneous Debris. Thank you so much for listening and joining. Don't forget, at RMK Madness, on the Twitter, on the Grams, on the Tubes. Check it out, like, subscribe, follow, download, all that good stuff. Do what you got to do. Help me, support me, and I got you with constant madness. Okay, if you like my style, just saying. All right, let's get out of here. As always, much love to you all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay mad. Yes, stay mad. Ta-ta for now. Latest.